What's up guys, and welcome back to another video where today I've got a pretty neat unboxing to share with you guys. This is a Sonokong Phantom Orion BD. This is actually an authentic product. I've owned a couple of reproduced or mid-fake Phantom Orions before, but I'm really excited to sort of break open a Sonokong copy of it because I've never owned like an authentic Phantom Orion. The code on the bottom here, I don't know how readable that is, but it is L1511, which I'm told is a pretty good batch, and that does indicate that this is authentic Sonokong. I know there are some repros of Sonokong Metal Fight releases, but I believe the only reproduction of Phantom Orion is just the original Takara Tomy version. So, obviously, this is pretty much all you got on the front here, just the 4D system, logos and stuff, Korean text, because this is, of course, a Sonokong release, right spin indicator, stamina type, 4D system, comes with a light launcher too, which is also shown here, obviously the Takara Tomy logo, because this is still Takara Tomy. Up top, talks about the BD, or bearing drive, which I'll also get into. I'm not sure what this piece is saying here. If anyone speaks or reads Korean, feel free to let me know. This is the character who uses it in the anime. This is Chris. I'm not sure what his name was in the Japanese version, because I've only ever watched the dub, which sucked. But in the dub, his name is Chris. Not sure of other languages, but over here, just sort of. I don't know what this is supposed to be saying either. Again, if you speak or read Korean, feel free to let me know in the comments. Talks a little bit more about BD over here, and then I believe this is just sort of a thing about the hybrid wheel system. On the back, it goes over all the parts. I believe it gives them ratings. Yep, gives them ratings on each attribute that they have. Probably, if I had to guess, attack, defense, stamina. Maybe, not entirely sure. Talks about the mode change that the Phantom Wheel has, and then gives stats for each one. Not sure how accurate these stats are, but I digress. And then you've got a recommended combo over here, which is Scythe. I'm not sure what clear wheel that is. The shape almost reminds me of Chimera, but I'm really not sure what that could be, especially given the available clear wheels at the time that this released. I'm trying to think of what was like popular or what Takara Tomy would have been trying to push back then. Honestly, also kind of looks like Sagittario 1, especially given that the little shadow of a face bolt there, you can barely see it, but it is yellow. But then obviously BD. On the side here, it explains the 4D system a little bit more. So I think I've gone over the entire box. So without further ado, let me break this thing open because I have been waiting long enough, let me tell you. So there's a piece of tape there. Always make sure to be careful with scissors, guys. Safety comes first. I know I say it every time, but it's an important statement to make. There's another piece up here that's looking a little bit less accessible, but I believe I got it. Yep. And then one down here as well. There we go. And now, just open up all those flaps and everything comes out just like that. The box is empty. Got instructions, stickers, your tool, and of course BD, which I'm very excited to break into and see how that works. And over here, you've got the 4D wheel, clear wheel, and face bolts, as well as your light launcher 2. So as for the light launcher 2, it is a nice inclusion. I personally prefer string launchers. I know reproduced light launcher 2s break really easily if you don't treat them with the utmost care. I'm not entirely sure how the Sonokong Takara Tomy ones work. It's been a long time since I've owned one. I think I had an authentic Diablo Nemesis way back in the day, like shortly after it released, but with the number of light launcher 2s that I own, it's really difficult to tell them apart, and I'm not about to go through the process of figuring out which one's which. So I am going to mark this one if I take it out of the packaging. Overall, pretty good launcher. Again, not sure how durable the original ones are, but I know the repro ones break easily. So now, let's break this thing out of its plastic bag and go over that. There we go. So there it is. Obviously, Phantom, and then the Orion clear wheel, and this nice sort of almost golden-ish face bolt. It's got a nice sort of finish on the plastic, if you can call it that. Code on the inside. I don't know how visible that is. I don't know how I can make it visible, but it said, am I holding it upside down? It just says AR on the inside. No number. I'm not entirely sure if it's supposed to have a number, but regardless. The clear wheel Orion, it's a nice sort of burgundy color, sort of a almost brown-ish, like a reddish brown, if I had to describe it. Really neat shape, really interesting. It's obviously it's supposed to fit well with the Phantom wheel, with its shape and all that, because you got those little eye details there. But I really like using Orion with Flash personally, because it's heavy. The weight goes to the spots where it needs to go to. Although Orion can be swapped out for just about any clear wheel on Flash, honestly, because just because of how wide it is, you can't really obstruct any contact points with your clear wheel. But it is nice to have a clear wheel on it that uses the same sort of shape of weight distribution as Flash. So Orion, obviously, that's my preference. Katos or Cetus, Esculpio or Scorpio. What else works well with it? I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff. I don't own it, so I'm not entirely sure, and I haven't heard anything about it, but I feel like Beelzeb might work well with Flash. I guess I'll have to get a Beelzeb and find out. But regardless, I think this is the most I've ever talked about a clear wheel in my life. Let's move on to the 4D wheel, which is Phantom. This thing is a really nice kind of shape here. The details on the side look pretty intricate from what I'm seeing. I think it's a problem with other repros that the sort of like waffled pieces here are really poorly detailed, and I'll get out my other two reproduced Phantoms to compare as well. But overall, looks very nice, very shiny, which I like. Phantom, amazing wheel. Holy shit. Very round, obviously. It's pretty heavy. It's got a pretty good weight to it, especially for a stamina type. And then the sort of angled pieces here can help to destabilize opponents. And then, of course, my favorite detail about Phantom is the sort of attention to detail that they put into making this a stamina type part, because obviously you've got, since it's a 4D wheel, it splits into a frame and a core, and the core being on the inside is all plastic, which completely maximizes Phantom's outward weight distribution. Very, very cool attention to detail, and Phantom, if you know anything about Phantom Orion or, Metal Fight Beyblade in general, this thing spins for so long. I think Phantom actually might have the highest spin time out of any fusion wheel. I know in actual battles, Duo outclasses it just because it's rounder. I think it's heavier and more compact, but Phantom is still a really, really good option. If you don't have Duo, you'll get by just fine with Phantom. And then obviously being a 4D wheel, it does have a mode change. You can flip Phantom, you can flip the frame over and still place the core in the same way. So now it's sort of, honestly feels rounder in this mode. But all these kind of details, these little jagged bits on the bottom side are a little bit more pronounced. And then this flat edge in the center here is also exposed to contact now. So this is attack mode, and then this would be stamina mode. overall, really cool metal wheel. I'm actually about to go grab my other two Phantoms right now to compare. I'll be right back. All right, I got out my two other reproduced Phantom wheels. Obviously, the shiniest, newest one is my Sonokong, and then these two are reproduced. And these, from what I can see, apart from one of them being more beat up from battling more often, they feel kind of about the same. I know this one in particular, the detail on these waffled pieces is just horrible. Now that I'm looking at it next to a real one. On this one, they are maybe a little bit better. You can see them better because these sort of rib pieces aren't as beat in, but not amazing detail there in comparison to this one, which also isn't great. It's not very consistent, but I think that's to be expected, especially with the shape they're working with. Overall, obviously these feel about the same weight. I don't have a scale to compare them, but yeah, this definitely feels higher quality than my Repro Phantoms. So I'll most likely be using this for actual battles in the future. And then I also got out Duo. This is a reproduced Duo to compare as well. So obviously you can see Duo is it's not really showing up on camera, but it is more compact than Phantom. Phantom is a little wider. And Duo is a really interesting case just because it doesn't have nearly the same like features as Phantom, but it does outperform it. Just really interesting piece. Really just goes to show how much like perfect circles actually change the game in Beyblade, because again, theoretically Phantom should be better, you know, but Duo outdoes it, and Duo also has great defense. This is conversation for a different video. I should move on now, but regardless, I'm gonna get into these little bits now. This is the part that I've been really waiting for here. So there we go. So this is BD, or bearing drive, and this is something I'm excited to have, but also a little worried. The free spin on it was really good just a second ago. Now it feels like it's a little bit locked up. I might need to lubricate this a little bit, but so far it already feels so much better than my two other BDs, which are just kind of bent. And this one feels like it's showing a little bit of bend itself here. It doesn't feel perfectly centered with that sharp tip, but definitely better than my other two. And then the free spin on my other two just sucks, but this is really good, actually. It feels like it's breaking in, loosening up a little bit. So this is really nice. It's really cool to have an authentic BD now, especially considering A, my other two BDs suck, and B, I figured this would be really difficult to get my hands on. I don't know if I mentioned it. I got this off of Amazon for like $35, 36 in total with taxes and whatnot, but this was really cheap for an authentic Phantom. I'm not sure how many are left in stock. I think when I bought it, it was getting a little low. But then after I bought it, it didn't have the like only this many left in stock, order soon thing. So I will leave a link to the Amazon listing in the description, but I'm not entirely sure how many are left in stock. So if there's none available, I apologize. And honestly, hop on this shit. If you're a Metal Fight collector, eat this shit up. I might honestly buy another one. Beat me to it. If there's still some available after this video is up, please, I beg you, don't let me get another one, because I'm probably going to. Well, actually, I think it'd be a little more sensible if I begged you not to buy one, because I kind of want another one, but I digress. Seriously, this is something to go for if it's available. I always figured an in-box authentic Phantom Orion would be a lot more expensive than what I got this for, but this has been a real pleasant surprise. And okay, it's a little wobbly, but it's also a lot better than my other BDs. So this is honestly just amazing. So I think without further ado, because I think I've said everything that can be said, I'm going to put the stickers on and do a test spin. So I'll be right back. And there it is with all the stickers on, and it's looking pretty fucking fresh. I like this thing a lot. I do find it really interesting every time I get a new Phantom Orion that these sort of eye stickers here that accent the gaps here in the clear wheel, they're not they don't like go on the other side. Like on the underside, the obviously you probably can't see them, but the same eye details are still there on the metal, but if you were to flip over the wheel into attack mode, it's just kind of plain on the bottom side. And like I said, those eyes still kind of poke out, but there's no stickers on them, which I find, again, just really interesting. I know, or at least I think I still have one of my repro sticker sheets for Phantom Orion just kind of laying around somewhere where I actually didn't put on those eye stickers. And I might put those on the underside here for that. But that's, I don't know, that's just kind of weird to me that they didn't include that. But regardless, this thing looks pretty sweet. I'm about to take this over to my stadium now for a test spin. And I want to time how long it takes to for this thing to sleep out, because I've heard all kinds of stuff about Phantom Orion and having a super long spin time. My repro Orions didn't really match that necessarily, but I do really want to see how this Sonokong one does. So I'll see you guys there. All right, I've gotten out my Pro Series Stadium and, of course, my new Phantom Orion. And I'm going to do a quick, or maybe not so quick, test spin and just see how long this spins for. So 3, 2, 1, go shoot. And there it is, almost 4 whole minutes worth of spin time. If I have edited this video the way that I have in mind, then that was definitely sped up by a little bit, because I don't want to just add 4 full minutes of nothing onto the video. Because it was literally just me sitting here in silence, fidgeting with a couple of things. You might have heard me breathing on the mic, whatever. Meanwhile, Orion was just spinning the whole time and is technically still upright on that BD, because there you go. Now it's tipped over. See, so that was really interesting. Really exciting though, because holy shit, I got myself a really good BD, because I assure you my other ones don't spin for that long. Really incredible stuff in my opinion. That said, I think I've said and done everything for this video, so that'll wrap it up, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day. See ya.